Hey world, it's your host Marshall. Thanks for tuning into my podcast, Run On Thoughts. Here we talk about everything and nothing because we are not afraid to be all of ourselves even as we evolve. And that's my thought for my fellow thought thinkers as we unpack our traumas, past hurts, and other BS. Y'all ready? Let's go. Hey thought thinkers, I'm back again for another episode of Run On Thoughts. I am excited to be here, but before we begin, I want to stand in a place of gratitude and thank anyone listening from the very beginning. I want to thank you for your shared community, and for all of you listening for the very first time, I want to welcome you to a safe space. I want to welcome you to become a thought thinker. I welcome you to go to runONthoughts.com to listen, to subscribe, to become a thought thinker, because it is important, especially in these times, that we learn how to be thoughtful in our thoughts, because there is so much going on. And most of what is going on, most of what needs to happen is internal dialogue so that we can do the internal work. We cannot change what is going on if we are not vulnerable enough and strong enough to do the internal work. Because with that work, it will give us the empathy and the compassion, and we will step into our truest selves. And only in your truest self can you exist in your purpose. And that is the most important part. You existing in your purpose. It is a beautiful Sunday morning here in New York City, but it is daylight savings time. And that means that we are losing an hour. So, like you guys, I am a little tired, but I hope this episode gives you a little pep in your step. Today, we are talking about healing, and that healing lasts forever. This episode was inspired by my sister, but it was truly inspired by all of us, by the world, by my own thoughts, by everything that all of us has ever been through. I'm going to take it back to the simple times where I just share who I am, what I am, how I've arrived. Because like I've told you guys, everything we are in this moment, usually we can pinpoint it back to the shortest period of our lives, and that is our childhoods. In our childhoods, we learn to see. We learn to hear and feel and be. We are told who we are. We are told what to think. We are told, we are indoctrinated. We are living a life that we think is our own, but it is not. And that is why it is important when you become an adult. That is why it is so important to unpack, unlearn, reclaim, decide who you want to be, decide who you are in this world. Even those of you, the reason why I say that this conversation was inspired by my sister, because I won't share what she was going through, but the something was something that we've been working on for a very long time. And she thought she was healed. But I never had a conversation with her that said that she would be healed. See, healing lasts forever. Healing, like life, is a journey. You must take healing on the journey of life with you. The same way I tell you guys that you have to take joy on your journey, or whatever it is that you need on your journey, whatever you need to pack on this journey. It is important that you understand that healing lasts forever. It is a forever journey. It is a forever unpacking. And sometimes the crazy part about healing is that you don't know when those life triggers are going to show up. You think that you have done the work. You think that you are healed, but there is no such thing. Even when you fall down and you bump your knee and you get a scrape on your knee and the scrape is bleeding and you get some peroxide or alcohol and you bandage the knee and it scabs over and it heals, 95% of the time there is still a scar. And attached to that scar is memories. It's memories. I hate to tell you guys this, but all the things that we go through, they exist in us. They become part of our DNA. So most of the work is not about it disappearing. It's about us learning and gathering new tools on how to transform that trauma, how to transform that pain, how to not exist in it, for it to not take over who we are. You guys know my story. I tell it freely. And I've admitted that I used to tell it so freely out of fear of being judged. But now I tell it so that I can share with you guys how I have arrived here. It's a journey. It's a journey that does not require your perfection. It's a journey that just requires you to be honest and authentic with yourself. Stop lying to yourself. Stop believing that you need to fit into the social norms. Stop believing that you are going to be judged. Stop caring if you are going to be judged. It is important that even in your healing journey, you allow yourself to be. Everything that we discuss here is about being. Just being. Just being is being worthy. And you got to believe that with every fiber of your being. You got to believe that you are the being, that you are worthy, that the answers lie in you, that healing looks like loving on yourself. You know how many of you don't love yourselves? And you get mad at those of us who love ourselves. But those of us that love ourselves understand that on this journey of life, you must take healing and unpacking and discovery on the journey with you. Your youth is in that bag that needs to be unpacked. And you need to open it up. You need to shake off the dust. Get out the wrinkles. Sit with it. Close your eyes. Go back there. And for some of you, what's back there is painful. But unless you go through it, you don't know if how it's serving you in this moment. You do not know how it is serving you. My grandma used to lock up the refrigerator. And through the lens of a child, because I've told you guys that we do not have vision. Our eyes cannot see. We see through perspective. We see through our own knowledge. We see through our own ignorance. And I thought my grandmother was being mean by locking up the refrigerator. But when I unpacked that, because see, I took that into my early adulthood, and I have food trauma, and I needed to have ridiculous amounts of food because I was so afraid that I wouldn't have food. I was so afraid that the food would be locked up. I thought my grandmother was being mean, but she wasn't. She wasn't being mean. She was doing the best she could with what she had to feed 13 grandchildren. 13 restless, excited, snotty-nosed grandchildren whose parents, well, some of them, had not stepped up to the plate in the way that they should. But she stepped up, stepped down, stepped around, and held us in our bosom and had to make decisions like the boss that she was. So I want to give a shout out to my grandmother, Elsie Bradley. I wasn't in her home that long, and not sometimes, I know that that hurts me. Not because the life that I had wasn't better, but because that connection, when my cousins are talking about my grandmother and growing up, I know that they had it hard. We all had it hard. But they have a shared community, a shared story that I do not have. And maybe I would have had an understanding and a different type of connection to the past had I been there. But I try not to have woulda, shoulda, coulda, wouldas, because you don't know what you woulda, shoulda, coulda, or woulda. You just know how to revisit the past and hope for the best. But my grandmother locked the refrigerator simply so that there would be enough food in it to feed all of us. That new perspective, when I unpacked my story, healed me. Right? It gave me new information. And I said healed me because most of us think that that is what is happening. But it's not. I got new information so I can think differently. But every once in a while, that feeling of I don't have enough food still comes up. I am a hustler. I'm going to make a way out the dirt. And most of that feeling of making a way out the dirt comes from my own trauma. So when I unpacked some of my trauma, I decided that the hustle in me needed to stay. I didn't forget the trauma. I don't forget where I came from. I don't forget that I come from the bottom. I am not ashamed that I come from the bottom. Are there things that I wish a young girl didn't have to go through? Of course. When people say, oh, you wouldn't be this if you didn't go through that, get the fuck out of here. I don't even want to know. I don't want to suffer. I don't want none of you to suffer, but we have. We have suffered. People have let us down. We have let ourselves down. You find out that some people that you thought were strong are not. You find out that those that you thought were going to protect you did not. You thought that those that loved you, they did not. You thought that those that were going to keep a safe space for you, they did not. We have all been let down. We have been let down. We have been abused. Some of us have been beaten and assaulted, sexually assaulted, and countless other things, and verbally abused and gaslit. And the list goes on and on. Some of us have been raised by narcissists. Some of us have been raised by addicts. Some of us have been raised by some who are just so damn judgmental. Some of us have been raised with people who don't know how to live. And because they don't know how to live, they don't want you to live. But I am telling you, you got to live. You got to understand that you have the power to make the life that you want. And you have to believe that you have the power to make the life you want. You have to believe this. You have to believe in these laws. You have to manifest whatever you believe in. You have to believe that you are the power. You are the energy. You are what makes you special. You are connected it to the God energy in you. It is important that you understand that you are worthy. That's right. You are worthy. You are worthy of all of the things. You are worthy of love. You are worthy of laughter. You are worthy of joy. You are worthy of success. You are worthy of peace. You are worthy of inner peace. You are worthy to be your most authentic self. But that starts with healing. So if you have not started your healing journey, start now. But for those of you who believe that you have done the work, don't fret when you are triggered. Don't fret when in the midnight hour all of these feelings and traumas come back to haunt you. Remember that you have tools. You have done the work. Do not be afraid to go through the wilderness. You can see the light. Those beginning the healing journey right now, they don't know that there's light on the other side. They don't know that they're going to feel lighter. They don't know that the light is going to shine on them like the sun. But you have tools. You have tools. You have understanding. You have perspective. You have the knowledge that you simply just have to give yourself a hug sometimes. Somebody told me that they were feeling overwhelmed, and one of the things that they wanted to do was get in the closet and sleep. They wanted to be surrounded in a small space and hug on themselves because they felt like they needed to be in an intimate space. But they didn't want to share that with me because they thought that I would laugh. And so when they told me, I asked what the fuck was funny. What the fuck is funny? I don't believe that loving on yourself is funny. And I don't believe that doing anything that is not going to harm you or anybody else, you need to ask for permission about. So if you want to get in the motherfucking closet and go to sleep because it makes you feel better, I don't understand what the problem is. Because let me tell you something about whimsy and whimsical and doing things that are youthful and things that warm your heart and heal your soul and take you on the journey of healing. In that truth lies discovery. In that truth lies a new opportunity. In that truth lies the future healing. In that truth lies you standing up for yourself. Stop giving fucks about what people think. I am 50 years old and I am loving it. I thought I didn't give a fuck before, and I know y'all thought that I didn't give a fuck, but no, it's a different kind of not give a fuck. My foyer is filled with candy and cotton candy makers and Skittles and gum and hot chocolate bars, and now I got chocolate tea when I went to Puerto Plata, and I'm traveling, and these are youthful things that many say that an adult shouldn't have, and I say why. I ask you again that when you are deciding to have joy, when you are deciding to be happy and you question yourself, ask who are the they? Who are the they that are making you question yourself? Usually those theys are people that are not happy. When I have to stand 10 toes down and exist in my truth, I know for some of you living in your truth is heavy. Heavy is the crown of truth at first, but then you will be lightened. You will feel lighter. The weight will be lifted. The heaviest part of the truth is simply opening your mouth and your mind and your heart and your soul to who you really are, and to stop giving a fuck about what other people think. You are your greatest asset. The truth shall really set you free. And when does it end? It wins when life is over. This is why it is important that while you are living, to live. You want your story to be a beautifully well-rounded, balanced, full story. You want it to look like the circle of life. You were born, shit happened, you unpacked, you healed, you lived, you traveled, you saw, you laughed, you joked, you cried, you feared, you loved. But most importantly, you did it all while being you. You did it all by understanding that you must continue to unpack. You must listen to your own run-on thoughts and answer them. Sometimes people say, Marshall, who are you talking to? And I say, and they say, well, as long as you don't answer. Well, I fucking answer. I am clear-minded. I am clear that I am asking questions. I am clear that I am answering, because sometimes I need to hear my own thoughts out loud. Who the fuck is they to tell you not to answer if you are not hurting anyone? I am my best advocate. Why would I not answer me? I am an internal being with energy. Of course I will answer me. And sometimes I will be right, and sometimes I will be wrong. Just like if you answer somebody else. Just like if you ask someone else a question. Love yourself. That's why it is important to get in the closet if that's what you want. Buy the candy machine if that's what you want. Be whimsical if that's what you want. Read a naughty book if that's what you want. Buy beautiful bedding and get in the bed and watch a movie if that's what you want. Cook if that's what you want. Celebrate everything if that's what you want. But always remember that the journey is yours, and on the journey you get to decide what you take. But the only way to know what you should take is to unpack it. And you have to keep unpacking, because healing is not congruent. Healing is not, it doesn't have finality. Healing is a continual journey of self-awakening. Because even when you think you are healed, a new level of life happens. A new perspective happens. You change. You enlighten. You need new things. You have new information about the past, or about yourself, or about the thing. I used to believe that I needed to be attached to someone in order to be whole. The crazy thing is that I didn't believe this inside. I was raised to believe this, and the society around me taught me this, but inside there was this internal dialogue that always was crying out to me, saying, be yourself, be yourself, be yourself. And although I was trying to, you know how hard it is to try to be yourself and submit to the whims of other people at the same motherfucking time? It's hard. And I was trying to do that. I was trying to hold on to me and give all of me to a bunch of selfish motherfuckers. But what I learned is that I got to be me. And those that I allow in my energy sphere, they got to accept me as I am. And that doesn't mean that I get to disrespect them, right? Because in enjoying being me, it is easy for me to respect the boundaries of other people. It is easy for me to respect who people are when they are living in their authentic selves. That is why my purpose is to help you unpack who you are. Because I want you to experience what I am experiencing, the joy of being yourself. That doesn't mean that it comes without hardship. But even in the hardship, I have a balance. I know how to get back to joy. I know how to source joy. I know how to go to my soul and get the tools that I need to get back to joy. I understand my traumas. I know what they are. I am not afraid of them. Some of them are mine and some of them are not mine. And those that are not mine, give them back. Those that are not yours, give them back. If you have been told that you are not worthy, give it back. It is not your shame to carry. Shame is how the enemy controls you. Your silence is how the enemy controls you. Shame through silence is how the enemy keeps you down. That saying, what goes on in this house stays in this house. Those are enemy words. It's used to control the narratives. It's used so liars can still have a standing. But none of that is your motherfucking business. You got to unpack. And sometimes in unpacking, if other people's story is your stories, then that's their problem, not yours. Evil gets to persist because goodness thinks it always has to be good. And when you think that, you will remain suffering. That's why I don't believe in blind forgiveness. So someone should do something wrong to you. Evil should do something wrong to you. Right? And in order to you to be forgiven, you got to forgive evil. What kind of motherfucking sense does that make? That means that evil gets to keep being itself, and you got to wear two pains. The pain of the infraction and then the pain of knowing that you really don't forgive them. I want you to give yourself permission to be mad, to be angry, to be loved, to be vulnerable, to be joy, to be whimsical. I like that word. Just to be. Because only in being do you recognize that healing is the journey. Healing lasts forever. But as you are in the midst of healing, you will gain tools. And that is what I want you guys to get from this. You ever think that you've healed from a relationship and then you get in another relationship and that shit comes up? Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. You've done the work. But you get so flustered that you forget that you've done the work. And so you repeat patterns. No, sit still. Sit with yourself. Pop yourself on the hand. Say, self, wait a minute. You've been here. You recognize this pattern. What is this pattern trying to tell you? Is this pattern trying to tell you to abort this damn mission? You have tools. What are your tools trying to share with you? Listen to your tools. Do not force what you know is wrong. That's what a lot of people do. That's what a lot of us do. We trying to change and unhear and unsee what we know is right. We've healed, but because, and guess what, guys? In healing, let me tell you what you really do not have control over. We do not have control over other people. That's why relationships are so hard. Because I only have control over the work and of the self that I do for me. I do not have control over the work that I do for other people. They are in charge of them. I cannot control them. I cannot change them. And I can only inspire them if they let me in. So in all this work of being me and healing me and the work of me, I know for a full mother fact that I got to accept you as you are or not at all. And that is one of the hardest things in the world, because you know how hard it is to find chemistry and energy with somebody. So then we want to force it. But you are not the problem. And sometimes they are not the problem. But we all got problems. And so we all need to do the unhealing and the unlearning and the reimagining and the becoming, because healing lasts forever. I'm tired of talking to you guys. Bye.